Hello guys and girls, we would like to talk to you about the
That's kind of a creepy intro.
Hey, what's up y'all?
Wake up to the alarm clock in my head. Thoughts keep beeping, they won't let me rest at all. Keep telling me that I don't.
So basically we're going to be reviewing all the Olympics from, what's the oldest one? Was it 1864?
1864.
1896.
1896.
Okay, 1896 is the oldest one.
I am our fact checker.
Yes, he's our fact checker.
He is the brains, we're the opinions.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the first Olympics.
we
We have, I can't read it from here.
It's Tokyo 64.
Tokyo 64.
So 1964.
So, 1964. What do you have?
This was a really big one. This one had Jim Ryan running his first Olympics. Was really young then. Also a really big one. First time I believe that any country in Asia had ever hosted an Olympics. So very big deal there. That being said, I don't think this is one of the most iconic Olympics. So I think this is maybe a
I
silver
would
or bronze.
probably give it a silver.
Silver.
Yeah.
For one, it was Jim Ryan, who was a high schooler, who ran the Olympics for the first time ever as a high schooler, and he actually, I think he ended up winning his event or placing fairly well against some of the most memorable for that time frame field. He was like, I'm trying to remember who the other person was.
He placed fairly well in that one though. I don't think he won the gold, but
Yeah,
he did.
I think it was the next Olympics that he actually ended up winning gold. But still, for being a high schooler, he was incredible.
That is pretty big.
Yeah, that's major accomplishment there. And again, this is a really historically important Olympics, but at the same time, like, I don't think it really is one where people are like, that was the unforgettable Olympics. That was the Olympics that everyone remembers.
So
I don't think it's
I
that.
think it's a good silver. Okay, moving forward to the next one, we have a Berlin.
This one is huge. Okay, there is so much that happened at this Olympics.
This is probably the hardest one to rank though too, because on the one hand,
It is, yeah.
you have
You have Germany. Everybody knows you have Germany. 1936. So a lot happened. This is right before World War II.
I think that's a historical standpoint. It's a gold. Historical.
Yeah, historically wise, it is a 100% gold.
it was one of the most important historically. Even though I think Germany running this Olympics does, and especially trying to use it as a platform for their politics, been a disaster. But I think what really turned things around and made this really one of the most iconic Olympics ever, and one of the most important Olympics culturally, was Jesse Owens.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Four gold
Jesse
medals.
Owens, 4 gold medals. First, I think it was the first and the last person ever to get 4 gold medals in one Olympics, and he crushed it. But the crazy part is there was a lot of segregation in Germany itself, and you know how the Jews were being really discriminated against. The next person on that tier list was the black community. And so when Jesse Owens, there was actually a lot of speculation from Germany that was wanting to ban against African Americans. That they, along with like Jews, in the same way. So actually, what Germany wanted to do is they wanted to actually ban African Americans from the Olympics. But America told Germany that if you want to be the shameful Olympics that did not have America perform in the Olympics, you are going to have African Americans in the Olympics. So America was actually going to pull out of the Olympics at this time, but they stuck through it and allowed African Americans to perform. And after that, Jesse Owens became one of the most iconic figures in all of history when it comes to track and field. Memorable Olympics, I would have to say.
I think Jesse Owens makes it that most. It was one of the most important moments in history because of Jesse Owens, and I think that makes it a gold.
And you have to remember,
Add a 5th gold to Jesse Owens' total.
you cannot forget that there was, in this Olympics, there was Louis Zamperini. We cannot forget that.
That's instant gold for me.
Louis Zamperini was the very first high school ever to make the Olympics in track and field. And he wasn't even supposed to run this event. His main event was the mile. And I think his brother or something got him to run the trials in the 5,000 and barely qualified. And competed against some of the most competitive fields ever. So Louis Zamperini is probably one of the, I would say Louis Zamperini and Jesse Owens are two figures that really made this Olympics so iconic.
I fully agree with that. Because
Yeah.
with those two, especially if you guys watch the movie Unbroken, you can see both characters in action.
Two of the most famous movies ever made about Olympic track and field is The Race, about Jesse Owens' life, and then Unbroken, about Louis Zamperini's life. And both those two movies are probably one of the two most iconic track and field films of all time, and they're based in the Berlin Olympics.
Let's go to the next one. Beijing,
Beijing.
2008.
2008. This one, I don't know much what happened in this Olympics.
Beijing
I will say
Beijing
they
was
had-
a huge Olympics in
Yeah.
a few aspects. I believe
You have the coolest ceremony ever.
I believe
Yeah.
I believe this was the first time Mo Farah doubled in the 5 and 10K,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah, that's something to talk
And
about.
that's a big deal.
Mo Farah was a huge iconic.
Not only that, but I believe this was also the first time that Usain Bolt doubled in the 1 and 200. So this is a
That
big.
wasn't real.
No, that wasn't the first time he doubled in the gold and got double gold in the 1 and 200. I don't think. I believe it was Beijing, because he did it multiple times throughout his career, and I believe that was the first time. Because I think he did it in 3 separate Olympics. This was the first. I believe Michael Phelps was also in this Olympics, and that just, I feel like, kind of pushes it over the top and probably has a gold.
Gold.
Yeah. I would say
Maybe
silver.
a silver though.
Was-
I would
Just
definitely say silver because
I mean, I guess it's not on this quite on the same tier.
you really can't put it
Historically.
You really can't historically compare it to Berlin.
That's true.
Yeah, because it had good,
So-
it had good like features, had good like outcomes, but historical wise.
But it's not like that unforgettable moment, I
Yeah.
guess.
Definitely.
So I say silver. It had like probably the best ceremony ever that
It was
Olympics
incredible.
had seen.
I think that's fair. I think silver is probably a fair ranking.
Yeah. But otherwise, there wasn't too much special. I mean, it's not forgettable. It's definitely not bronze because it had such great talent.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say
Because you had Mo Farah and then
Yeah.
like the Olympic ceremony, how incredible that was.
Yeah, but it's not like gold, like historical wise, where it's just gonna be
Unforgettable.
unforgettable. So
Silver.
silver is next one.
Remind me what that is.
Let me
I
see.
can't even see that.
It's 1896.
That's a disaster.
So
This was the
1896.
very
Ooh.
first time anyone tried to
Yeah, absolute
bring the
disaster.
Olympics back after it
Uh,
had disappeared for thousands of years.
From Rome.
It really, it was a good attempt, and it was a good attempt to try and bring the Olympics back. But really, there wasn't anything super memorable about this Olympics, and it really like this Olympics, and really up until 1924. Like, if nothing had changed in 24, this probably would be remembered as one of the Olympics that basically just killed the Olympics for good. Like,
Yeah, we're lucky we still have Olympics after that one.
yeah, like after, especially like, I mean, 1896 was really the beginning of a streak of bad Olympics leading up to 1924, which was one of the major turning points and what resulted in the Olympics as we know them. It really isn't recognizable as what we would think of as the Olympics now. So I think, yeah, it's definitely a disaster. It's a good attempt, but ultimately it fell short of what they were really trying to accomplish.
All right, next one. Can you guys
I
guess it?
believe this is Helsinki, 1952.
Yes, it is.
This is a big Olympics. Emil
Yes.
Zatopek had a really iconic performance here. 3 gold medals in one Olympics in 3 different distance events. The 5K, the 10K, and when he decided that once he had golds in both of those, he just decided, just for fun, hey, why not run the marathon? He got a gold in that too.
Well, I feel like kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
Now in today's world, you have to qualify for those events.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just decide, oh, I'm gonna do this now.
Well,
And, like-
the thing when you were at that level at that time, they didn't have a lot of people to choose from.
And it's
So
insane the amount of talent he had too, because it's not just he won the Olympic marathon, he broke the world record holder in that
and
marathon.
that's not even his event.
It's not. Like, he just absolutely dominated in that Olympics. I think otherwise though, not a ton going on, but I think this is definitely a silver moment.
I
I would say
so.
silver. I want to say bronze because he had that one really good
That's
athlete.
true. It doesn't
Yeah,
have a
so-
ton outside of that.
Yeah.
There has to be a level of history and then a more iconic performances than just one performance.
I'd,
Yeah,
I'd
exactly.
say,
So I would say bronze.
Yeah.
I'll go bronze.
All right, what do we got next?
This is Paris, 1924.
Oh.
1924. This is a
1924.
really big year. Historically, like I was saying, this might be one of the most important Olympics. Really,
It was
a turning point in.
This Olympics is what made Olympics the Olympics we know today.
Yeah.
It was literally the turning point.
This is literally-
Before that, we never had Olympics anything like this, and it was basically the pioneering into Olympics actually being recognized as something recognized on the world stage. I would say.
Yeah, and this was really what is known as the first modern Olympics, and there were some really iconic moments in this Olympics. Of course, there is the ever unforgettable Eric Liddell.
Yes.
Just insane.
His story is crazy. So of course, he was I think a 200-meter runner or something, or it might have been 400 meters. I'm not sure.
It was, I believe it was 200.
Yeah,
What's his normal event?
200 meters, yeah. He had one thing that made him
100.
crazy
One
is
of the
he had
two.
a weird form. He would like kind of flail, but he was crazy fast.
Kind of like
Um,
that 16-year-old.
Kind of like the 16-year-old. We'll get to him
Quincy
later.
Wilson.
Quincy
Yeah.
Wilson. Shout out. No, so basically he was a Christian, and that was his most important thing to him, as his faith was kind of the thing that Olympics came second. His faith in God came first. His main event actually overlapped on Sunday, and his conviction was, I'm not going to run on Sunday, and so he was fighting with the Olympic Committee to try to get him to change it or do another event, whatever. So eventually, for the trials, he barely qualified for his event. Another event, the 400 meter, and then they replaced him in that event, not allowing him to run. Not wanting to run in the 200 meter. So it wasn't even his event, and he ended up getting a gold medal and was a huge iconic figure in that Olympics.
Not only that, I believe he broke the world record as well in doing that. And he also, like, an interesting fact about him is that not only did he do that, but he also stepped away from the Olympics to become a missionary in China afterwards, because that is what he had promised to do. And even though he was at the top of his career, he probably could have dropped the world record even more, but his faith came first, and he became a missionary because that is what he had promised to do. On top of that, there were some other iconic athletes, such as Paavo Nurmi, the Flying Finn. This guy was one of
Flying
the
Finn.
most dominant distance runners ever. He held so many world records, I can't even count them all right now.
Is he still holding right now?
No. All of them got broken because, it was back in the 20s.
Yeah.
But he held basically every distance world record you could hold at one point or another. So, just real iconic guy. If you've watched heard about the first woman to swim the English Channel, she actually competed in this Olympics, got bronze in I can't remember which event, but this is just so much star power in this Olympics. So I think this is definitely a gold moment because it really
Definitely gold
changed.
moment,
It really
It changed
changed
the course
the
of
Olympics.
history.
1924 definitely changed the whole scenery of Olympics.
Changed the course of history.
Which now we have it today.
So I agree.
I was
that-
going to mention something about the Finns. So for a good 2 decades, as we know today, the people the country that kind of dominates, or at least used to dominate last decade, is the Kenyans. Like, the Kenyans has always been like a really dominating country for athletics. But before that, like for a good 2 decades, in like the 30s and the 20s, 1920 and 1930, it was the Finns. Finland dominated the Olympics in the distance races, and it was known that you do not mess with a Finn. Finns were incredible. Like, they're basically like the Kenyans of today. Moving on.
Sydney.
Sydney. I don't know much about Sydney.
I don't know a ton about Sydney. There were some good moments. There were some
I think this
Definitely some disappointing moments for some people. I don't think this was one of the most memorable Olympics though. I don't think there's necessarily like a major moment that like puts us on top of other ones. And because of that, I think it's kind of in the forgettable category.
I would say that too.
I think it's
Definitely
for
forgettable.
Because there were probably some great moments, but I don't think people really remember those as well as they probably should.
Next, we have 1928.
1928. That's another one that kind of was moving towards the new generation of Olympic running.
Yeah, and although it was, I think this one though did kind of lack the same kind of like it didn't bring the same kind of energy that I think the 1924 Olympics did, and I think outside of like maybe Pavo Nurmi again because he just kept going.
Yeah, Pavo Nurmi made those two Olympics pretty incredible.
Like
as we said, Eric Liddell was a missionary at the time in China.
Yeah, so I think this one probably missed a lot of what could have been, and I think it's kind of been forgotten for that reason. So I think it's probably unforgettable.
Or bronze. Yeah, either way. I would say probably forgettable. Because I don't remember it that much.
I can't play
Rio
I can,
2016.
Ooh, okay. This is probably in bronze. So
bronze. So much happened during Rio 16 though.
actually, yeah, it could be silver.
I think
There's
it's silver.
there was a lot that happened in the Rio 2016 Olympics. And this was a pretty
We had
iconic
Usain Bolt
Olympics.
going crazy. We had
Usain Bolt, I think, had a-
Kipchoge going crazy in the 5K.
This is really like
Not 5K. That was in the marathon. That was his first marathon.
yeah.
Oh,
He
was
was
his first
2000.
marathon?
That was his
that
first
Beijing.
Olympic marathon.
Beijing,
Yeah.
that was 5K, right?
Beijing and also I believe Athens. Athens was his first Olympics for Kipchoge, so
yeah. 2016 is really the
He won
it was a
2016,
pivotal moment.
yeah, he won gold.
for his Olympic career. I mean, marathon career.
This
he,
might be a silver because of that.
Yeah, he definitely
He's
changed.
he's
He
a
changed the
historical
course of
figure.
history. He really changed the course of history when it came to the
Marathon.
marathon, and already holds a bunch of world records. And it was really Rio 2016 Olympics where it all started.
I think
Isn't this also the beginning of Ryan Krauser too?
Yeah.
Like
and,
that was his first of 3 gold medals.
I think this
Like,
is the ending career of Mo Farah as well.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and
I think so.
who else?
I mean, because I think that was when he might switch over to the marathon for that one, and that was I think
it was kind of the ending career of Ken Lisa Bekele too before he moved on to marathons. as well.
yeah I think so.
all right.
1968.
1968.
1968.
A lot happened here.
This
Oh my
is
goodness.
so much.
I want to say disaster because
I don't know though.
Well, the thing is,
Bob Beeman.
it was a disaster of
Was
an Olympics. I gotta
the
say.
most. If you want to talk about ahead of their time, iconic moments in sports, Bob Beeman's long jump. A record that would not be broken for decades. Not only that, I believe this also might have been one of the 2 marathon golds that Abibi Bekele won. And everyone remembers him as the guy that ran the marathon barefoot and won gold. I mean, he actually still holds the world record for running the fastest marathon barefoot.
Because no one else attempted it.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean,
who would?
well, other people have attempted it,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
to run because his time was a 2:05 barefoot.
That's crazy.
For anyone else to ever do that, that would be insane. So I believe, I think with the controversy, I don't think it's fair to give it as gold or silver, but I feel like a bronze, because like
Bronze?
they're.
Well, it's been kind of people dying though from heat stroke and getting overheated.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that. So actually, in the 1964 Olympics, I believe it is.
Tokyo?
No, Mexico.
68,
Oh,
yeah.
68. Okay, 68. So in the 1968 Olympics, a lot happened when it comes to weather. Since Mexico was like a higher altitude, it was a really, really hot Olympics. And for that reason, a lot of people overheated, especially in the marathon. One particular man, he actually, I can't remember his name, but he put, for some reason, he put oil on his skin.
Oh, yeah.
He put oil on his skin to prevent himself from overheating or something like that. But he really don't understand science for some reason, and he basically boiled himself alive, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, he ended up dying at the end of his marathon because he had oil on his skin the whole time.
Yeah, but he couldn't breathe in.
And the problem, I mean, it would have been fine if it was cold, but
No.
this Olympics was hot. It was blisteringly hot.
I think part of the problem though is like
You can't
kind of
breathe
what
with
you
oil.
pointed out
Yeah.
is like with the Olympics, like how much of it is on them, like if the athletes aren't preparing properly for the condition. So I feel like this is a bronze because as much as that was terrible,
Yeah, it would definitely be a bronze because it's
There-
more of an iconic Olympics.
there are so many iconic moments from this Olympics, and even ones that we probably didn't mention that
Yeah,
definitely deserve it being up there, even though it wasn't the best managed Olympics ever.
definitely not. Definitely not.
we have Athens.
This is a
Athens.
big one. Athens, a return to Greece. This is a really big deal. I think this was a really big one because this was the only time Hisham El Garouj, the current world record holder in the 1500 and mile, this was
I
the
forgot about
only
this.
time he got gold ever in the 1500.
Which year is this?
This is 2004.
Oh, 2004. Yeah.
This is the only time he got gold ever in the Olympics for the
Isn't that-
1500. This is also the first time that Kipchoge ever competed in the Olympics. That being said, I do believe that they're like outside of like some of those moments, maybe not the most iconic Olympics.
Who knows when Steve Prefontaine competed in the Olympics?
I don't.
He competed.
Here, let me check.
Alright,
Yeah, he
fact
did.
Yeah.
We're going to do a quick fact.
He was the Oregon Duck, right?
Yeah, so Steve Prefontaine is probably one of the most memorable figures in athletics history.
By his mentality.
By his mentality. He was an absolute dog. Like, he understands the sport and really
This was 1972. He
was the David Goggins, yeah.
He was earlier.
He had a mustache and a mullet.
But did he run this?
So
No, his was in 72. So it was
72,
quite a
okay.
bit before this.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's a long time.
That's
So I
a long
think this
time.
is probably a bronze.
Bronze.
Most likely a
Good,
bronze.
but like not the most iconic. London 2012.
London 2012.
Again, very good Olympics. I still think it's probably a bronze. Like,
Bronze.
I don't think it stands out above like some of these other ones.
It doesn't.
I feel like it's kind of forgettable.
I
mean,
don't know.
the only thing that makes it iconic is probably the location. Because London, I think
They did
yeah.
well, and there were some really big moments for some big time athletes there. But I think outside of that, it's probably a bronze.
It's
I think.
definitely
Okay.
So.
All right, but big hitter.
And
But big hitter.
Oh, okay. This
This is
one.
Paris
either-
2024.
okay, either
This
bronze or
could either be absolute gold or disaster.
I don't
that's
think it's
that's how crazy it is.
gold.
No, the reason how memorable it is, it could be gold or it could be disaster.
Because,
Let's break it down.
let's break it down. Okay, let's break it down. First, it's
The opening ceremony.
The
Open
opening
ceremony.
ceremony. Let's start with that. Okay.
This
And dare I say, least performance of art I've ever seen. It was
it was so bad they wouldn't even show it on TV. And also, additionally, may I just mention one name, Raygon.
Oh,
I forgot about her. Oh my goodness.
So
What are you talking about? She was like the best breakdancer ever.
Of course, like she's the one who sponsored the Olympics. She's the one who brought breakdancing into the Olympics.
yeah, this is I think so with that, and then also not to mention the triathlon. To be fair though,
yeah.
I don't know if we
Everybody
can.
got sick.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
of
we
course
can
we did.
consider, because this is more track and field. I don't think we can consider Raygon because that was outside track and field.
yeah.
But the triathlon, I think
that was partially right.
I think that's within the realm of the track and field sphere when we include like road running and all that. So,
Yeah, so-
and that was an abject disaster.
That was just
so.
it was just sad to spot.
It was sad, yeah. They shouldn't even have swam in that river. Like, it was the most disgusting river. So whatever, she was like, oh, it's safe.
She literally
I will
swam in
swim
it to try and prove that it's safe. She swam in it for like 10 seconds, got out, and then like was done. These athletes are swimming in it for like an hour.
They only had to swim for like a full 2 miles or something.
Like this is
Well, this is a triathlon. I mean, it depends on what.
Wait,
event it is.
it's sprint triathlon, I think. So it's
Well,
it's
it
shorter.
depends. No,
well,
I mean, it's
the
a-
Olympic
it's a mile.
triathlon. How long is
Oh, it's
it?
a
It's a
mile.
mile.
1,500 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think because of that, even like, I don't know, there were some really, really iconic moments in this
Oh,
Olympics. Though.
yes.
Cole
No.
Hocker.
So
American goal.
iconic. There
Oh,
will never
He was
be.
coming right behind in third as well. In 1500.
When it comes to,
They had Grant Fisher beat like breaking the record. Sorry to cut you off, but breaking the like the
you
American
got a
record.
point.
Yeah.
Grant Fisher was incredible.
But I do think there is one problem, in distance running that they did create, and that was the marathon.
Oh man,
It was easily the worst marathon course that has ever existed
But
for the
elevation
Olympics.
Wait, if you guys don't know,
This is easily the toughest Olympic course. An Olympic course.
does that make it good though?
So tough. I don't know though, because it was already going to be a very hot day, and it was a hot day. I think it really limited what could have been an iconic and great performance from some of these athletes.
And one thing to mention from that marathon, it was the last Olympic marathon Eliud Kipchoge will run. Eliud Kipchoge, if you didn't know, this is the first time he ever quit a marathon.
In the Olympics.
In the Olympics. Because as you know, Eliud Kipchoge was the most iconic figure in the Olympic marathon. And this is the first time he ever stopped. I think
It also ended his chance to be the first athlete ever to have 3 gold medals
In the Olympic marathon.
So I think that was really just a difficult moment to watch for a lot of track fans to see finally
such a
the
legend.
end of such, or the beginning, at least the beginning of the end of such a legend in the sport.
such an
At the
iconic
same
figure.
time, though, there were some other great moments. Sifan Hassan became only the second person to gain 3 gold medals
Three medals.
3 gold medals, 3 medals
3 medals.
in the distance events.
Big difference.
5K, 10K, marathon, 2 bronzes, 1 gold in the marathon, which not only is the longest event, but was also the last event.
She did 5K, 10K in marathon, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what she did.
Pure
Okay.
insanity. At the
We have to go back to Cole Hocker though. We can't just cut that off.
We can't stop talking
We
about it.
can't stop talking about
He's
Cole
just
Hocker.
too iconic.
So let's break it down. If you don't know, Paris Olympics 1500 meter was probably one of the most anticipated events in a decade.
Okay.
It was incredible.
Yeah, think about this. Cole Walker wasn't even in the talk. Everybody was talking about Yako, and they're talking about Josh Kurt. But them going head to head, who will win gold. But no one was talking about Cole Hawker.
Nobody was talking about Cole Hocker, or even we had 3 Americans. We had Cole Hocker, we had Yair Nagus, and we had Hobbs Kessler. All 3 of them seemed like they were in the mix for the gold, and they weren't even in the picture.
Well,
it was just Cole Hocker. I mean, it was just
It was Yarden Goose and Cole Hawker.
Jacob Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr were the only people considered in this rivalry, basically.
It was probably one of the biggest upsets in the Olympics ever.
It was the most incredible upset you could ever witness.
Really is iconic to see that kind of change.
Transformation. Yeah.
And
Crazy.
not only that, it was also 100 years after 1924.
Yeah.
But I think because of it's such a balancing act, I think it lands squarely in bronze because it's such a balancing act between.
You have
iconic moments, then you have
It was
disaster
probably one of
moments.
the worst Olympics when it comes to management, but one of the most memorable Olympics.
It was
in so many
It
ways.
was. I think the best way to put it is the best worst Olympics.
In the 400
Yes.
meter race where the guy went from US guy, what's his name? Quincy,
Quincy Hall.
Quincy Hall, where he goes from like 6th place.
Oh yeah.
in, on the last
most
stretch.
barely
incredible.
beats.
Yeah.
Well, and
Cindy McLaughlin is 400 meter hurdles world record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna break it anytime.
Yeah, she
every time, but at the same time, like, how often do we see athletes that dominant where they're so dominant we expect them to break the world record every time they compete?
Every time, yeah.
Just kind of
It's
pole
just
vaulter.
it's
Duplantis.
diabolical.
Oh, Duplantis, yeah.
Duplantis breaks world record. Apparently, he can break it very easily, so he just goes.
He just goes up 1 for the world record bonus, 1
Like,
centimeter
oh my
every
goodness.
time.
Because-
He's so good.
because he's like, hey, $100,000 every time I do it.
Yeah, I think this is squarely in bronze.
Just because of management, and then because of
Tokyo 2020.
Tokyo 2020.
Forgettable.
This
is
this
definitely-
might actually
yeah.
be a disaster.
This could be disaster.
COVID almost completely ruined.
I would say COVID ruined this Olympics.
Like because of
I won't say a disaster as well. I say forgettable because
the Olympics
it
still
had-
happened.
It still happened, and there were still a lot of feats that happened, like Jacob Ingebrigtsen's gold.
But I don't think
But
anyone
the thing is
really
so
remembers
forgettable.
it.
Yeah,
because
that's the sad part.
COVID really was such a big thing. Like it
Yeah, it's
really
definitely forgettable.
put the Olympics. Like people didn't really remember this Olympics.
Yeah.
I would say it's forgettable.
That being said, the Olympics still did happen, so I think that was prevented it from being a total disaster, total loss, but it really is not something that people really remember that well.
I mean, Eliud Kipchoge did take gold.
Yeah.
This one.
In the Olympic marathon.
But otherwise, I don't remember no ceremony. I don't
Yeah.
remember about.
I don't
too
remember much.
much. So I
What's
forget.
our last one?
I forgot what it was.
It's 1920, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
The 1920 Olympics.
I think this one's probably
Or I
squarely
think
in
it's-
disaster.
Is it 20? Is it 20 or 22? Or
I think this is 20.
okay, yeah.
I think this one's squarely in disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it was pre 1924, so it really wasn't a memorable.
Where is this
Olympics.
28?
It could be 28.
I'm not for sure which one it is.
Anyways, it's forgettable.
If it's 1920, let's just say it's 1920. If it's 1920, it's disaster. Because again,
Everything pre 1924 was a disaster.
Pretty much.
When it comes to Olympics.
so I think we put it there. That really rounds out our tier list.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Yep. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. There was a lot that we unpacked. I hope you guys stuck to the end. If you did, I appreciate it.
Yeah, make sure to like, comment below, and also subscribe if you really enjoyed this video.
And if this video gets 10,000 likes, Brody here is gonna get a mullet.
Well, that's
Yeah.
never gonna happen. We don't get 10,000 likes like that.
I really hope not.
I
so
don't care.
Do
Like the video. I wanna see
also
Brody with a mullet.
also make sure to check out our other video where if Jesse. If we get 1,000 likes on that video, Jesse has to buzz cut his hair.
I think I got a better shot of surviving this one. So.
So make sure to go over and like that one too, if you really enjoyed our content.
So thanks for watching. See you guys on the flip side.